Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Pack Attack 17 here, and today, I know it's been a while, but we're going to recap the past week or two in terms of Packers free agency news. There's a lot to cover, a lot of thoughts, predictions for the draft and the rest of free agency, so without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so first up, the Packers have restructured a ton of guys. Adrian Amos, Preston Smith are just a few. And over here, if we come here, we can see all of them. They kick the can down the road, which is restructuring it for a later date, which is all restructuring in void years pretty much is. So you've restructured Bakhtiari, Za'Darius, Amos, Turner, Preston, and Crosby. We've actually added void years to Turner, Amos, and Crosby, so that their contract will be still paid out after they're gone, which is a smart move for the teams to make money now, but it'll cost us in the future. Preston Smith took a huge pay cut. I don't know how Russ Ball did it. He's an absolute wizard. But he restructured or got Preston to take a pay cut that we'd pay him the same amount of money as if we cut him. So like we'd save $8 million if we cut him. But we saved $8 million from this. So we could have cut him, not had him play, but we saved the same amount of money to have him play next year. And it's incentive based to get him even more money. So if he plays well, he'll be rewarded, which is all the fans and the team really wants from him. And Za'Darius, we restructured him a ton. So next year he's supposed to make $28 million, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know how we can't extend him. Because $28 million for anybody is a ton of money, let alone an edge rusher. One thing if he had performed last year like he did 2 years ago, where he was like the best pass rusher in the league, but he just wasn't up to that level this year, the past year. So $28 million is way too much. I can see us getting an extension done in the next year or so. Definitely before next year. Bakhtiari restructured him to pushed $8 million back. Not much to say there. There's a restructure of the base contract and signing bonus and all that stuff. Don't really know a whole lot about it, just a little bit, but these all moves that Packers made, you can see we kicked the can or pushed money back $28 million in the future. And next year we'll be taking on an additional almost $16 million. Just because of all these moves we made, so we had to push it back. And then next up, the Packers have signed a few free agents, not free agents per se, but a few major players re-signed. Bakhtiari and Kenny Clark both earlier in the season. And then Aaron Jones was the most recent one. Signed him to a 4-year, $48 million contract with, I believe, 14 or so million guaranteed. This is pretty much just a 2-year contract, as we're only paying him $20 million in his first year, including the signing bonus. So it's a really small salary. But then after the 2 years, his salary just jumps up to 14 or so million dollars for the remaining 2 years. And that's a ton of money for a running back. And if Dillon is still like getting better and ready to start, I don't see how we don't run from Aaron Jones if Dillon's ready. This is a great work from the Packers. Got him for cheap for the first 2 years, which is all we really need because he's a great weapon, not just a running back, but also a pass catcher, blocker, everything. It's a perfect piece for the Matt LaFleur offense. Next up, Kevin King was re-signed for 1 year, $6 million. Now, we don't know the full details on this contract yet, but tons of fans hate it. I don't know one fan that's happy with it. Me, personally, it all depends on the contract. If he's just making say $3 or $4 million, like for his base salary and the signing bonus, and the rest is incentive based, like $2 million incentives, I think it's a great deal. He has good chemistry with the team. And as Adrian Amos said, he was happy to have the whole secondary back. So definitely a good chemistry boost. He's a good locker room personality. Nothing bad won't happen with him. But yeah, if he gets $6 million, he'll have to play well. So if he plays well, he'll have earned it. Not even good for the Packers because he'll finally play well in his career. So if people are saying it's too much money, but the max money comes if he plays well. And if he plays well, that money will be fully worth it. So I think it's a good signing for the Packers. But I don't think they're done at this position yet. I think they'll still look in the draft, first 2 rounds to draft a corner, and maybe even sign a guy like Casey Hayward or I don't know, not Richard Sherman. He's too much money, but someone else in the first next week or so as they get cheaper because the demand is less for them, and there's a lot of corners still left. Alright, lastly, these are some possible moves the Packers can make. Now, we don't have a ton of money at this moment. I don't think we have enough to re-sign to sign our draft class. But these are some moves we can make. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers can be restructured for $9 million. I don't think the Packers will do that. They want Jordan Love to be ready, and they don't want to commit to him in case he's a drop off like he did in 2017 and 2018. And then Devontae Adams, obviously not going to trade him, not going to cut him. I think an extension is the most best option for him. But it'll cost a ton of money. He wants probably like $25 million at least a year. And right now we don't have that kind of money, so we'll have to. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we'll have to extend him somehow because we don't want to lose one of our core pieces of the offense. We can also save money with it. Then Dean Lowry, obviously, I think that'll be after the draft because post June cut, obviously we save the most amount of money. And also, if we can draft a defensive end or defensive tackle in the draft, so that make sure we have depth there. And if we do, we cut him. If we don't, we can keep him. Obviously, or pay cut or something. And then these people, Tanyan, we paid him our second round free agent tender, $3 million. Marcus Scantling, we could save $2 million by cutting him. Sullivan, $2 million by cutting him. And obviously, we signed him to a base tender so that they can just be right of first refusal, basically. So if they offer a deal, we can come in and match it. And Lucas Patrick, I don't think we'll cut him. His position is probably best center, and with Lindsey leaving, I think he'd be a good person to put in there, or Elton Jenkins, or just somebody we draft. But he can play guard or center, so I don't think we'll cut him at all. Josh Jackson, I think we'll keep on to him for one more year. In college, he was a great zone player, absolute ball hawk when he played in zone. And this new system under Joe Barry is probably going to be mostly zone in Tampa too. And I think he could really excel in it if he gets like the right opportunities. So I think we hang on to him for a little bit. And then Devin Funchess, we restructured him, took $750,000 off of his salary. So I don't think there's any reason to cut him. Wanted to cut him, we've already done it instead of just restructuring him. But he's cheap person. I think he's good upside for his salary cost and whatnot. And then in terms of people getting mad, it's kind of office note, people getting mad about who the Packers have signed, free agency, and why they haven't signed anybody. Have to keep in mind, they have no money because they went all in a few years ago, signing the Smiths and Turner and Amos. That's going all in. And the result always of going all in is that you have no money in the future. It always jeopardizes your future. And also, we re-signed our guys, Bakhtiari, Kenny, Aaron Jones, Kevin King. I know Kevin King wasn't ideal, but keeping your own guys, those were our free agents. If we hadn't re-signed them, they would have all left and we would have had more money, sure. We wouldn't have kept those guys. And personally, I would rather have those guys than some of the other guys we could have had, like Galladay, or maybe not Galladay, but like T.Y. Hilton or Sanders or Sherman or any of those guys. I would much rather had the guys we re-signed than pay somebody new. Because those are all great Pro Bowl players and all pros. But yeah, that's it for the video. Kind of summing up Kevin King, Jones, pay cuts, whatnot. If y'all have any suggestions for the next video, or ideas what you want the Packers to do either in the draft, free agency, contract-wise with all these players, make sure to let me know down in the comments, and like, subscribe, comment as always, and turn on post notifications so you do not miss an upload. But with all that said, I'm gonna do a draft later, probably this week in a few days, maybe Monday or Thursday, no, probably Monday, and I'll be doing the Draft Network Simulator as opposed to PFF. So if y'all any ideas or suggestions with that, or even other places to use. I've heard PFN as a good one, but I've never even used it, so that might be something to try out soon. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.